sleeping giant, essentially.
Everyone notices.
Making her a huge target, right?
Yeah.
Every ambitious high-blood house wants... Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging right into Briar Boleyn's The Bond That Burns.
Yeah, it's a dark academia fantasy romance. Interesting mix.
Definitely. We've got our sources lined up, and basically we want to give you the core insights into this world, Sangratha.
Right, Sangratha. It's this kingdom where you have these powerful high-blood houses. Think noble families, but their power is tied to magic.
And they're always competing, right, for dominance.
Constantly, it fuels their ambition, creates this pretty rigid social structure. You see that a lot in dark academia.
Okay, so into that scene walks Medra Pendragon. She's a student at Bloodwing Academy. And things get complicated fast when she accidentally wakes up a legendary dragon, Nyxaris.
Yeah, not your typical Tuesday at magic school.
Right? So a legendary dragon. Let's unpack that. Why is Nyxaris such a big deal?
Well, Nyxaris isn't just, a dragon. He's got history, huge power. He was actually used as a weapon back in the Dragon Wars.
Oh, wow. So he probably has some unique magic, maybe baggage from that.
Almost certainly. Scars? Maybe? Abilities tied to that conflict. And Medra's going to have to figure that out, I imagine. His awakening just throws the whole political balance, which was already shaky, into total chaos.
Which brings us right back to Medra. Suddenly, this student is bonded to this sleeping giant, essentially.
Everyone notices.
Making her a huge target, right?
Yeah.
Every ambitious high-blood house wants to control Nyxaris' power.
Exactly. It puts her in an incredibly vulnerable spot. She's got this connection, but no instruction manual. She's a pawn, potentially.
So this accidental bond just shoves her straight into the political deep end.
Pretty much, right into Sangratha's intrigue. Now she's dealing with a ruling tribunal that's the main governing body. She has to prove she's worthy or capable of managing this bond.
And you mentioned the high-blood houses vying for control. What makes that political scene so intense? Is it just the magic?
The magic is a huge part. That constant struggle for magical superiority means trust is low, alliances shift. Plus, the legacy of those Dragon Wars probably casts a long shadow. Old grudges, power vacuums, that sort of thing.
And Medra's got to figure all that out while also dealing with a potentially traumatized legendary dragon.
Yeah, no pressure.
Now, it is billed as a fantasy romance. So, let's talk about Blake Drakharo.
Ah, yes, the morally complex anti-hero.
Always compelling characters, those ones. What's his role here?
Well, Blake's got his own conflicted loyalties. It creates a lot of emotional tension, especially with Medra. The source actually calls it a slow burn romance.
Which makes sense, I guess, given everything else going on. Hard to prioritize dating when you've got dragon politics.
Right. They both likely have significant issues, personal and external, to deal with first. It suggests the relationship develops gradually, amidst all the danger and plotting.
So, moving beyond the plot points, what about the deeper themes? What's the book really exploring?
Power's a big one. Who has it, how they use it, the cost of seeking it, both for individuals and the society itself.
And loyalty, you mentioned, especially with Nyxaris.
Definitely. His traumatic past probably makes him super distrustful. Medra needing to earn his loyalty, his trust, that's got to be a major dynamic.
And for Medra herself.
It's really a journey about identity, finding her own agency, her own power, while caught in these huge external pressures. Survival, basically.
This source also mentions betrayal, shifting alliances. Sounds like standard operating procedure in Sangratha.
Pretty much. Seems like trust is a very rare commodity there.
And it apparently all comes to a head during a solstice ball. Classic dramatic setting.
Oh yeah, perfect place for everything to explode. The climax involves dark magic, betrayals escalate.
Yeah.
Medra's forced into making some desperate choices. Really highlights the themes of sacrifice and just fighting to survive.
Okay, so wrapping it up, The Bond That Burns sounds like it weaves together some really intense fantasy world building, that slow burn romance element, and complex characters caught up in politics and ancient magic.
Absolutely. It digs into some fundamental questions, What's the real cost of power? How fragile is trust when everyone's got an angle? And can you fight for your own path when the world wants to control you?
Which leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener. Think about what happens when something ancient and incredibly powerful like Nyxaris suddenly reappears. How does that disrupt everything? And what kind of responsibility falls on someone like Medra just by being connected to that kind of power?
Yeah, it's a fascinating idea. What does that unexpected bond demand?
Definitely something to chew on. Thanks for exploring this dive with me today.
Grab The Bond That Burns by Briar Boleyn. Now on sale for $12.95. Don't miss this chance to build good habit and achieve remarkable results. Buy now today.
Like and subscribe for more Bookhaven podcasts.